So this actually takes us through a completely different area. This is the aqueduct, with some entirely different enemies. And the boss of the ultimate boss is the bone golem, which is an interesting concept. It's worth noting, I'm not going to show it off unless when we're done I don't have 100% completion, but there is a way in this stage to skip the boss and go straight to alternate stage 3. But like I said earlier, you can also get to standard stage 3 from here if you defeat the standard boss, because like stage 2 there are two routes here. One will take you to alternate boss, the bone golem. One will take you to standard boss, which was the werewolf. Ooh, I'll have that, thank you. Yep, get over here. That's what I've got. The Bone Golem's not a particularly difficult boss. The boss of alternate stage 3 is awful, or the alternate stage 3 boss. Like the Dolden or something, whatever it's called, I don't quite remember its name. It's awful, I hate it. So the big thing here with Maria is the way to the alternate stage 2 boss is to get over there on the right. With Ritzy you have to go upstairs and drop in the right place. With Maria you can just double jump over here. It's so much easier. Because if you go upstairs and you stay on the upstairs path, that will take you to the werewolf fight. Going down here will take us to the bone golem, and we have this guy who is probably one of the worst standard enemies in the game. Has a much longer reach than you would think, has a variety of attacks, but more than anything has way too much health. There we go. And this takes us to alternate stage 2 boss. Just make sure those aren't actually breakable candles. So yeah, the Bone Golem's not a particularly difficult boss to take on. Can catch you off guard though with how weird it is. It's an idea that would not be out of place in Dark Souls. I can definitely imagine a creature that looks like that, the first form, not this one, appearing in Dark Souls. The first Dark Souls had some really freaky skeleton enemies in the catacombs and the Tomb of the Giants. There we go, I need you to actually get into a position where I can hit you. There we go. But now this third phase is the weirdest. Like you can stand on it, but you don't move with it, so you know, don't get caught off guard by that, like I just did. Ugh. And no desperation attack, which is really nice. Just finished off my drink. Alright, so alternate stage 3 is the graveyard. The appearance of the Mudmen, the sentient tombstones, both of which would reappear in Symphony of the Night with reused sprites. Like, the series got really bad about reusing sprites like that. So I remember I played the DS games before I played the Game Boy Advance games, and the DS games reuse a lot of sprites from Symphony of the Night. And I remember one of the biggest things that I was really interested in when I actually started playing the Game Boy Advance games when I finally picked them up was that there was just there were completely new sprites, and it was really cool. Rather than like these skeleton sprites that we've seen God knows how many times since this game. That said, you know, a little bit surprised they didn't try. Oh, you. That's right, sink into the mud and die. What I do is break this. Here we go. It was it wouldn't have been. I would not have been surprised if they had used the sprites again in the Game Boy Advance games, but they didn't. And here is one of the other captive maidens. I forget which one this is. Either Terra or Iris. I forget which one's which. I think Iris is the doctor. Well, see ya. If you do this as Richter, that's actually where he does the peace sign with the thumb out, which was brought back in Smash Ultimate, I think, as either one of his taunts or one of his victory poses. It was a really neat thing with Richter, just how much of his stuff in Smash Ultimate was taken from the games. It was really neat. There was a lot of attention to detail paid to it. Alright, and that broke this here. I want to be careful because that spike ball does hurt us if we land on it. And this takes us to alternate stage 3 boss. No one that. Fun fact here, if you kill that rat, you actually get another sub-weapon. But you have to kill it from the other side. There we go, a bit of cheese before we take on one of my most hated bosses. I hate this thing, I really do. Okay. And taking this thing on as Richter is such a pain. Taking on as Maria can be a problem if you don't know its attacks. And you missed me, yeah. So I forget where alternate stage 4 is. I mean, we're gonna find out, but yeah. Oh, it's this one. So we have this stage, there's alternate stage 5 which we can do now, because we beat Dracula, and there's one more maiden to rescue who will be rescuing in this level. And then we'll go and take on Dracula as Richter. Die! And then we'll be taking on Dracula as Richter. It's worth noting that even if you take on the alternate stage 4 boss, unless you've defeated Dracula, you will just go to standard stage 5. They changed that in the remake in Dracula X Chronicles. You have to defeat Death, which made more sense to me. Having to defeat Death before going on to Dracula made sense because Death being, you know, like, Death being one of Dracula's main subordinates and a major Castlevania villain, it just made sense to me. But in the original version, no, you gotta defeat Dracula first. So this is another stage where you're probably not gonna figure out where alternate stage exit is. Okay. Okay, so if we can get to where we need to go, even if we die, if we can rescue the maiden before we die, then it still counts. We won't have to rescue her again. So we hit that. So what you need to do is hit both frog statues. The one at the front of this area and that one that we just hit. And then this falls down. You can go down these stairs here. And the big trouble here is the mermen, which, you know, we discussed. I hate the mermen in this game. Alright, we made it. And here is, I think this is Iris, the doctor. And so the point of this conversation is that Iris notices that Maria has a cut on her arm, and being the doctor, she bandages it up. So that's all 4 maidens. Alright, so let's get out of here. Alright, and now to the alternate exit, which is actually this. You need to get on one of these logs. And it'd be totally understandable if you expected that that was going to be a death. And if you're not on a log when you do it, it is a death. So these skeletons, you really just have to jump to hit them. Because otherwise you're just going to keep hitting the log. And what we want to watch out for is a bird on the right that will pop up with a sign. There it is. Now we need to jump. And here's the ferryman. And he will take us across this river. Thank you, ferryman. And now he will give us a treat. Thank you. And now he'll give us something better, which is a key. And now he tells us not to come again. But gives us the invincibility potion. No, I want that key. That was close, actually. Get a little bit nervous. There we go. And I have no idea what's with this stage background. Because this isn't an emulation issue or anything. It's just bright green for some reason, I have no idea why. And now we have the alternate stage 4 boss, who I think... No, this is the second appearance. This is Carmilla. First appeared in Castlevania 2. Would later go on to be more prominent in Circle of the Moon. And there's Laura, her ninja cat girl. Both characters are, of course, a reference to the Carmilla novel, which does actually predate Dracula. Dracula is considered like the early vampire fiction, but Carmilla does predate it. And so now we have the worst stage in the game, stage 5 alternate. And there is no way I'm trying this as Richter, because this is pretty much all platforming. Alright, so let's try and get through this without too much trouble. Because I was doing this as on the PS4 version to get the Platinum Trophy. And I got so mad at this stage. I got so many game overs here. And it was just, I was so angry. It's like the angriest I've been at a game in a long time. And like, doing this as Richter would be horrible. Because like, almost all of it is the platforming. You gotta watch out for the mermen there, especially ones like that jump up like that. And then what we're going to do is use the double jump to get up here and bypass all of this trouble down there. And just keep double jumping to get across. Like seriously, doing this as a Richter would be awful. So there's actually two paths here. There is the bottom and there is the top. I ended up taking the bottom one when I was doing this on PS4. They both lead to the same place, so it doesn't really matter. There's no boss in alternate stage 5. In the PSP remake there is. This stage, I think, is almost entirely different in Dracula X Chronicles. And there is a boss, it's the Hydra. Which is pretty neat. But here it's just pretty much entirely a platforming gauntlet and an enemy gauntlet. Going down is a platformer, is more platforming. Going up is just straight on enemies. That's not what I wanted. I was trying to duck. I think Maria is actually short enough to duck under the axes that he throws, that the axe armor throws high. Richter isn't. Richter has to take them down or backflip over them. Which was really irritating the first time I found that out. And every now and then, I will completely forget that and duck out of instinct. The problem here, though, is these two. Because, like, they take so much damage. Thankfully, like, you abusing Guardian Fist. It's like, doing this without using that is so difficult. And now I'm having trouble pulling it off. There we go. Alright, let's get out of it. It's a really interesting musical track they play as well. I think this is Opus 13, which is a neat track. It isn't used in the PSP version, because their alternate stage, like I say, almost completely different, and it has a new music track. But you can unlock Opus 13. They have a new remix of it that can be unlocked for the sound test, and it is actually a really good rendition. And I think Dracula X Chronicles let you change the music for stages. So, you know, if you want to get some use out of it on there, it's totally doable. These platforms, if you jump on them, they flip over. And they count knockback as being jumped, because when you knock back, you fly through the air a little bit. And if you land on one of them, that counts. And... come on, we're almost there. I want to get through this without dying. I'll be so happy. We did it! The worst stage in the game without dying. Oh. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut back to Richter in the final level. So we'll see you there. Alright, so we're back on the file select screen and we've got 100%. We didn't actually have to take on Dracula with Richter, it seems. But we're going to do it anyway, because Richter has a different ending and we will use that as the finale of this playthrough. So let's go and do this. It's worth noting that Dracula is considerably harder as Richter because of less options. And at this point I've been playing this. This has all been one session, this entire game. So a little bit fatigued. So I may start making some mistakes here. But hopefully I can pull this off fairly well. And the biggest problem with fighting Dracula as Richter is you get one shot per teleportation unless you use the cross to get 2 hits. But my main recommendation for the first part is patience more than anything. Like, just keep doing it like this and he'll go down eventually. So, patience, don't get over-eager, don't get frustrated, and just remember, he's going to go down, just don't worry about how long it'll take, because that's when you start making mistakes, when you start getting frustrated like that. And it's a big part of the reason why I wanted to record this now. Because, like I say, recently got the Platinum on Requiem. So I have this fresh in my head how I did it. Doing this on Requiem recently actually took me a bunch of tries. It was really irritating. And so that, if he jumps with Richter, you can get over him, but it requires like precise placement and moving immediately when he does it. And so like now it's... I needed to duck there, damn it. I was doing so well. I completely forgot about that attack. So at that point I was in, I was thinking about the Sympathy of the Night moveset. He doesn't actually have that one attack that killed me in Sympathy of the Night. Right, so here we go again. While we're doing this, actually, doing this again, it's worth noting that in the PSP remake, which, you know, I wouldn't mind getting to at some point, there is, like I say, there's the... you have to rescue Annette to get the good ending in that. Otherwise she becomes the lesser vampire and you don't fight Shaft's ghost. Because in that case, what happens is, after Dracula's second form is defeated, if you haven't rescued Annette, Shaft shows up and rescues Dracula, taking him away. But if you do rescue Annette, and then you fight Shaft's ghost as the stage 7 boss, shaft doesn't show up to take Dracula away, and Dracula has a third form, which is way harder. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, the third form in Dracula X Chronicles is way harder. And it got to the point, I was having so much trouble doing it. And it got to the point where I could take down both the first and second forms without taking any damage, and then still lose to the third form. It was such a... I was expecting it to be the fireball again. I keep forgetting about that attack. That's always really tight. So that was Castlevania Rondo of Blood. And you saw it here, folks. 100% completion. The first 100% run on this channel. And of course it was going to be a Castlevania game. So this is pretty much entirely the same as the Maria conversation, except Richter actually has retorts for what Dracula's saying. Maria's mostly like, I don't get what you're saying because I'm like 11. Or 12. I don't know. She's young. So I'm not sure what he's saying there, but I'm going to assume it's along the lines of, die, monster, you don't belong in this world. See you in 4 years, Dracula. And so Richter doesn't have an escape sequence, and also weirdly the castle doesn't actually crumble in Richter's ending, which is kind of weird. Because like pretty much every other Castlevania game is character standing on the cliff as the castle collapses. It's weird. But yeah, that was Rondo of Blood, released for the PC Engine Super CD exclusively in Japan in 1993. It's a great game. I think it really does hold up very well. Certainly one of the best, if not the best, of the classic Castlevania games. If you haven't played it for yourself, I do recommend it. You can pick it up most easily through the Requiem collection on PS4. You can't get this version anymore because Nintendo shut down the eShop on the Wii, so you can't get any of the Virtual Console stuff on there. Which is a shame because the Wii had the single best Virtual Console of any Nintendo system. So much good stuff. The Wii was a great system of playing retro stuff on. You could play the GameCube stuff on it, and then the Virtual Console was so expansive. So this has actually been the first game we've done on the Wii. This has actually been done on the Virtual Wii on the Wii U, so we are still playing the Wii U, which is why this is being recorded in 720p. Because I don't have my Wii anymore, because my Wii U was fine with it. So that's the end of Rondo Blood. Next time we do Castlevania, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Might be Super 4, or I might go on into another Metroidvania, possibly Aria of Sorrow. So I do want to do that before I do Dawn. But then there's always Portrait of Ruin. I do like Portrait of Ruin. Well, this has been Rondo of Blood. I hope you have. I'm sorry. This has been Akumajo Dracula X Chino Rondo. I hope you have enjoyed this playthrough. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and take care.